Anxiety is our brain's way of notifying our mind of danger. Now, I'm what we call in philosophy, I won't nerd out on this for a second, but for too long. I'm just called a mind body dualist. That is, I think that we are a soul with the body, and I do not think that the brain is the mind. I think those are different things. They're related, but they're not the same. Much like my hand is not a glove. I put my hand in a glove, but they're not the same. But my hand uses the glove to catch the ball. My mind uses a brain to reason and to remember things, survive, but they're not the same thing. Not to me, they're not at all. So, my view very much is that anxiety is our brain's way of telling us, our mind, our soul, you might be in danger. Anxiety is a warning signal of threat. We're about to die. Pay attention. Thus, this warning signal is necessary for survival. It's necessary. So I'm being real specific. That's what's going on. It's just, hey, hey, look at there, look at there. It's my dogs and cats going, did you hear that? Did you hear that? What is that? It doesn't matter if the danger is real or, to use psychological, if it's rational. It doesn't matter if it's real. It doesn't matter if it's not real. It doesn't matter. I'm being emphatic on purpose so that your brain hears you when I start clapping because you're going to think of danger. And that's why preachers do this. They're supposed to. I study how the brain works. That affects how I preach too. So you pay attention. Listen to me. It's working in it. The brain doesn't care if you're in danger really or not. It doesn't know the difference. That's why you get adrenaline if you watch a good movie and you're scared. That's why a roller coaster, you're not going to die. Well, you might, but you think you might. The whole time. I saw this video of a guy. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm making. I guess I don't mean to make fun. It was funny. It was like a skit, but it was real. And he's sitting on the right, and his girl's on his left, and he's screaming, "I don't want to do this. This is all your fault." And they're going up and down the roller coaster. They have the video on him, and he's screaming bloody murder. "I don't want to do this. I'm breaking up with you. I'm breaking up." He broke up with her on the ride. She's like, "Ah!" And I was like, he is scared to death. I wanted to counsel him, brother. You're not in danger. You just. Then they broke the ride up. Roller coasters, a good book. Make sure. Oh, that's a page turner. Is a book in danger? If you're reading about, it's just reading, but your adrenaline's going. I woke up from a bad dream. I do that often. I wake up, not often, but that happens to me. I wake up, can't breathe well, sweating, just because I call them stress dreams. And they're stressful. Things like, I'm not prepared. I got to preach in a second, and no one told me. I'm at a guest church, and they told me, and I don't have a lesson, and I'm preparing what to preach on my way there, but I can't find the entrance. And every door I try is locked, and my heart's racing, racing, racing. Or there's a serial killer. That's a real threat, but your brain doesn't know the difference. It just doesn't. The chemicals are released if the brain perceives of. I'll say later on, or if you believe that there is, and that's key, if you believe there is a threat. Which means we don't, well, I'll say this next point. See, I'm already going ahead of myself because when I wrote this is logical. So it doesn't matter if it's real or not. The brains don't know the difference. Healthy people, here we go. You might want to highlight this. Healthy people, that's one of my favorite adjectives in the English language. Always pay attention to the anxious feelings, and they always check to learn if the danger or threat or harm is real. If the danger is not real, healthy people employ various techniques to teach the brain to desensitize that perception. Like, thanks for letting me know. No, we're not in danger. You can always retrain your brain to be less sensitive to various fears. That's why we call it desensitization. You do not want your brain to stop being sensitive altogether. Yeah, we do. No, you don't. Right now you're so anxious, your brain's go, yeah, you do. Yeah, I do. I can't stand this. I can't stand this. Trust me when I say, please trust me when I say, you do what you want, you're an adult. Please trust me when I say, no, you don't. You don't want your brain to lose its capacity to be a danger radar. Healthy people do not seek incessant peace and calm. I hear that often in counseling. I'll say, what do you want from our time together? I just don't want to feel this way ever again. Oh, well, I'm going to fail you badly. I just want to feel calm. I don't know if you get that, Sarah. I want to feel peaceful. I just want to be happy. I can help. But if you think for a second you're going to live the rest of your life in this Zen state, you are setting yourself up for failure. And the reason why I tell them, the reason why I know that is because you're not a robot. And you have a brain and a nervous system that's going to keep working when you leave this office or not. So I'm going to teach you, instead of trying to be in a Zen state all the time, what if instead we learn techniques to desensitize how hypersensitive your brain is to anxiety? They go, I guess I'll take that. So healthy people don't seek incessant peace and calm. No, they don't. And when you do, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're going to cause more anxiety. Healthy people completely accept and welcome the sensations of anxiety. They allow the sensations and then rashly decide to act on the sensations or not. They say it with me. They completely accept that sentence. Say it with me. They completely accept. Please read it with me because it's going to help you learn. This is a pedagogical technique. It's help your brain learn the more you say it. They completely accept and welcome the sensations of anxiety. They completely accept it. They allow it. They fully allow it. Bring it on. I want more of it. I love it. Yes, sir. More, sir. Now, later on, I'll talk more about this, but some people like to picture anxiety like some little cartoon character. I picture my dog Bear, who's just kind of always do. He's like, I'm like, oh my goodness. But I'll talk much more about this when we get to the wounded child. You do not want that part of you to turn off. That's what makes it worse. The more your alarm system's ding, 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 you're going, no, 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 no. It's going to ding, 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 ding. Because you're teaching your brain to be afraid of whatever it is you're saying no to. The more you deny it, the more you're anxious you're getting. So the goal is, if this hits you hard, this will set you free. Thank you, Jesus. The truth sets people free. Stop trying to avoid anxiety. Stop trying to avoid anxiety. Feelings, even intense anxiety, cannot kill you. They're chemicals. They're meant to wash through your body. So let them. You notice them. You pay attention to them. But you let them wash over you. I accept. I allow. I welcome. All my radar's going off. That's all it is. Yep, they're in my body. Yep, and they're going to wash out of my body. Yep, I feel anxious right now. Yep. Is there really danger? Am I in danger right now? No, I don't think so. Okay, so it's just chemicals in my body. Yep. Oh, they'll pass through me. Thank you, brain, for helping me. Thank you for being so sensitive to that noise at the downstairs door in the middle of the night. Thank you for waking me up. But we're safe. I sent down Elaine, and she said we're fine. Whatever that noise is, I'm so glad. Thank you. That noise scared me, but we're safe. I'm so glad about that. When you and I become afraid of anxiety, which is what most people are, and I'll say this more over and over and over, you develop phobias. Most people are completely fine with anxiety. They are, but they're afraid of it. Well, I mean, it's like in reality they can deal with it, and they live with it all the time. But we can become fearful that we can't deal with it. Stop trying to avoid it. Stop trying to say, I just need to feel peace in my life. Well, yeah, sometimes, sure. But once I'm repeating myself, I'm going to move on. But if you can hear me, but if you leave this room today, or even right now in this moment, if you find yourself resonate with what I'm saying, that in general, I just wish I could feel calm all the time. What would it take? You know what? Those Christians, if I were really having faith, then I would feel, they're always smiling. There's something, they're lying. No one's happy all the time. Do you understand that? I don't think you do yet. Now, some of you don't get that. No one's happy all the time. You might encounter that person at work or at home, and that moment they're happy. No one's happy all the time. And I love how John Townsend, as the therapist, says it. There are only two kinds of people who want to be happy all the time: children and addicts. It's true. And they're very similar. Because little baby children are addicted to feeling happy all the time. Because the number one complaint they have for any event is it was what? Boring. That's the top of their list. What is wrong with you? I didn't get high on that trip. That's all they care about. I used to tell my students when I was a teacher in high school and they had the review, they had to do the little interviews for, how good was your teacher? And I would say, yeah, I got to do it. Do you think, Dr. P, they call me Dr. P, do you think you ought to do this? No, not at all. You don't? No, I don't care at all what you think about this. You don't? I mean, I kind of do, but no, I don't. Why? Because you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't know anything. You're 14, you're 15, you're 16. You don't know anything. You think the measure of success of this class is whether you enjoyed it. I don't. I think the measure of success is whether I prepared you with good information that prepare you for reality. And you won't judge me. Most of you won't judge me on based on you knowing the material well because you're too ignorant to know the difference. You don't know if the material's any good. What you care about is whether you had fun. Well, that was nice to you. I told them this kind of stuff. They go, I mean, I love them. They knew I loved them. But I would tell them. But I care about, sure, I understand the administration has to know whether or not I'm a weirdo and I'm not teaching you. I get it. But in general, because all you want to have fun all the time. And a lot of them are like, yeah, that's true. If you leave this room still trying to be so peaceful and happy all the time because you think someone else could be that, or the preacher is, or my friend is, or my spouse is, I'm telling you, you have been duped. You've been duped. Anxiety is part of life, and it needs to be, or you will die very quickly. God designed us with an alarm system to help us survive. Don't tell God you know more than He does. He designed us to feel it. And so the fear that you feel of that feeling, just because it doesn't feel good, it feels uncomfortable, the feel-bad chemicals, well, instead of dismissing them, we'll talk in a second, instead of getting drunk and sexing it off and buying it off, we can learn skill sets of how to get relief from it and deal with it properly. And I have a whole page and a half on relief. We'll talk about the homework. We will talk about it. Right now I'm talking about what is anxiety. My first major point is the brain sending out chemicals when it thinks you're in danger, and those chemicals feel like danger, and then you get scared. But I'm here to tell you, anxiety won't kill you. Your brain's just trying to keep you alive, and that's a good thing. Thank you, brain. Our mind, I'm going to go ahead just because of time. Let's go. Is that all right? Our mind interprets this chemical reaction as an emotional feeling of fear, dread, or uneasiness. The older I've gotten, the more I like the word dread. I like a lot of words now the older I've gotten. I mean, certain words that really, and dread's one of them. That really articulates that word I often feel, dread. So my brain sends out this chemical, but my mind and my soul goes, that feels like blank. It feels like fear or dread or uneasiness. That feeling of threat, danger, it causes the mind to keep focusing on the danger as a little child. And that child is always melodramatic and unwise. So the brain says, ding, 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 I heard the noise. Look, instinctually, you're going to go, there's a siren. I see this all the time in churches all my life. Every time I do a speaking, when I was a business consultant, no matter what happened, everybody's, they'll look over. There's a false alarm. It doesn't matter. But the mind decides whether to keep looking at it or not. I wonder what that was. Who was that? I wonder where they're going. Is my friend in the fire truck? Who did it? That's a decision of the mind to keep thinking about it. The brain sent out the signal, you did it, and the brain's like, next. Oh, I'm over there. No, look, people are moving. Keep looking. Smell. Am I surviving? The brain doesn't focus all the time. It's enough to get your attention. It's just the radar. But the mind chooses to keep focusing over and over and over and over. That changes gears to a different thing called the mind. Almost all anxiety is based not on the current situation. And that's so, man, when this hit me, when I learned it's so true. It's not almost all the anxiety that you and I feel is not based on what's really happening right then and there, like there's a real threat and harm, but on either one of two major things. Most anxieties calls on the past, that's rumination. Reliving what happened or what might have happened had we been harmed. I almost died. I almost died. What if I had died? That's rumination. That's a very common anxiety problem with people. In my life and people's experiences in counseling. I mean, it's very common. They can't get past blank. Now, they might ruminate for various reasons, and I'm not going to go into all the reasons right now. Maybe sometime we can talk about if you want to. So rumination itself, this is not a sin. It's not, I don't think it's a sin or evil. I think it's unhealthy. I think it's your brain and your mind's way of reliving the danger over and over and over because you think it keeps you safe. I was hurt or almost hurt, so if I keep refocusing it over and over and over, I'll be more prepared for next time. And that's mostly false. Anyway, that's rumination. Some of y'all really struggle with reliving the past over and over and over. And I'm saying that's related to anxiety. The other option of anxiety is the future. That's worry. That's the worry. What we fear might happen. That might harm us. Like, what if I die? This reminds you a lot. You know, they do studies often, all the time, psychological studies. Still at the top of the list, the most recent ones I've read, maybe Sarah might give me some more updates, but still at the top of the list, so often of the most things that scare you is public speaking. It tends to be at the top of the most, more than dying, more than like drowning. Oh, I drowned, man. I'm not going to talking. Let's test that theory right now. Zane, you want to come up here and say something? Nope, see theory. I'm trying. Jen? No, he just gives me a grin. I think about this often when people do public speaking. You know, in church life, it's fun through the years at different churches. People, why don't you have more people on stage? Would you like to come do it? No, I mean, but other people. That's why. Because almost everyone I ask is, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Why? No, no. It took me years to get Brandon on stage one time. Okay. Not years. I've only been that long. I had a buddy, now I had a buddy named Jeff, who's real introverted, and same thing. I'll get him, some of you don't want to pray in public. They don't want to talk because of anxiety. Now think about that for a second. That kind of fear of worry, what if? And that's another thing called social anxiety disorders is the what if I get embarrassed? What if they laugh at me? What if I start sweating profusely? What if I don't say the right word? What if all those what ifs are still at their core related to danger? It's the brain's way of saying, am I really in danger? So let me ask the question that seems quite obvious, and you know this when you're thinking straight, not based on the inner wounded child that's scared all the time. Are you in danger because you stand on a piece of wood and talk in front of other people? With no jokes aside, seriously, are you in danger? Are you more in danger? Am I more in danger on the stage than you in reality? Yes or no? That's right. The answer is no. 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 You feel like you are. That's right. You feel. But that's right. Like, everybody's staring at me. But that's the key, though, right? So the point is, am I really in? So if a bear came up the stairwell, we're all in equal danger. I mean, I might see it first and run, but right now in reality, probability, I'm not more in danger than you. I'm just standing on top of a stage. Like now, think of a bear. Thanks a lot. But I'm not. And you're not either. But that's the kind of stuff that we'll talk a lot about later on. Our mind believes, and the worry is that the future, what if I die? What if? And there are ways to address that fear, that relief part, which we will talk about relief. There are things you can say to yourself and do to yourself that'll help that calm. Healthy people do not ruminate. Healthy people do not worry. Healthy people do not ruminate. They don't read the chud over the sheep eat that over and over and over to the cud over and over, and they don't worry either. There was this huge gorilla at a zoo several years ago we were looking at, and he had this big old grass thing. He ate a big old green ball, and he ate it. He would chew and chew and chew and chew and chew and chew, and he'd swallow the whole thing, and kind of sit around. Then he'd start rolling around on his belly. He'd roll on his belly and roll on his belly, and he'd puke it up. He'd look at it, start eating it, eating it, eating it. He'd sit there about 5 minutes. He'd start rolling around on his belly, puke it up. He'd look at it, start eating again. Over and over. It's just a big old ball of grass. It's really all by that time. It's a clean old, like a bowling ball. He'd eat it. I thought, how about that? That's rumination. I just want to retread it over and over again. Healthy people have processed whatever that wound is, whatever the issue is. They don't do that. Healthy people don't worry either because they're not driven by fear. And when we've been traumatized, now trauma, most therapists will tell you, a trauma occurs when you have feelings of intense anxiety and you're in a state of helplessness. These two things go together. You feel like you're going to die, you might die, and you can't do anything about it. It's like when someone's about to hit you and you're like, and you just can't do anything about it. That can happen one time, a severe trauma, you can develop post-traumatic stress disorder. It takes one big time to be traumatized in a state of helplessness, a bad car wreck. And now you're scared to get in the car the rest of your life. You don't have to be, but that people can do that. Or one time that person dated a person, they did this. Or it can happen on subtle times for a long period of time. We call that complex trauma or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I suffer from complex trauma. So I know firsthand what this is. So when you suffer from trauma, no matter if there was real danger, it doesn't matter if there was really a bear or not. We become not scared of a possible future event. And this is so key. If you can outline anything, I hopefully highlight all of this. You're not scared of that event. You're scared of the uncomfortable feelings of anxiety that might occur if that event might happen. You're not as scared of the event. You're scared of how you're going to feel if the event happens. And this, I can test this easily. We do it in therapy all the time. It is a fantastic what-if game. This helps you get what we call the child state to the adult state. We go, all right, let's say that happens. What happened? What happened? What's the worst case scenario? So you play the what-if game. I do this all the time in therapy, people. And my own self, I do my own therapy, my own journaling. Okay, what are you afraid of? I can't talk to him about that. Let's assume you have to talk to your husband about something that he's doing that really, really hurts you. I can't talk to him. Why not? What would happen? I don't know. Let's imagine for a second. What would happen?